Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
I'm Will Leggetter.
And today we have a very special guest. We have... Oh, why don't you introduce yourself, Sam?
I'm Sam Mandi-Ghomi. It's a pleasure to meet everybody.
It's yes, this is the first time we've met. This is a chat roulette. Sam, have you seen Misery?
I have seen
Oh, well, we're in luck then.
Yeah.
It's a good job that we landed on you. We are continuing our fortnight celebration of the wonderful screenwriter William Goldman. This is our first film. That's a lie. This is our third film. We've done Butch Cassidy. We've done All the President's Men. And today is Misery.
You almost died. You have a compound fracture of the tibia in both legs, and the fibula in the right leg is fractured too. And as soon as the road's open, I'll take you to a hospital. In the meantime, you've got a lot of recovering to do.
There is nothing to worry about. You're gonna be just fine. I'm your #1 fan.
My name is Annie Wilkes.
I think one of my clients, Paul Sheldon, might be in some kind of trouble.
You mean Paul Sheldon, the writer? Well, everybody sure likes those misery books.
They had it at the store, Paul.
They said he checked out last Tuesday. Isn't that a little strange?
I guess it was kind of a miracle you finding me.
In a way, I was following you.
You were following me.
Oh, Paul, I've read everything of yours, but the misery novels. You must be a good man, or you could never have created such a wondrous, loving creature as Misery Chastain.
Very kind.
The presumption must now be that Paul Sheldon is dead.
You dirty bird.
Obviously from the much celebrated Stephen King novel from the... I can't remember, but it's the mid-80s or the late 80s. I've got it here to hand.
When did the film come out?
The film was 90. The film was 90, and the book... Look at that, man. Love a good...
What a bloke. Do you want to guess? Should we guess as to when it came out? I'll go for 81.
81. Will?
Oh, I'll go 83.
I think it's 86. It was... 87.
87.
So you were wrong, Tom.
How could you? Misery Chastain cannot be dead.
Misery Spirit is still alive.
I don't want her spirit! I want her! And you murdered her!
You don't think he's dead, do you?
And don't even think about anybody coming for you, because I never called them. Nobody knows you're here. And you better hope nothing happens to me. Because if I die, you die. I know you've been out. Is this what you're looking for? Eventually, you'll come to accept the idea of being here.
Annie, whatever you're thinking about doing, please don't do it. Annie, for God's...
Shh, darling. Trust me.
God's sake.
It's for the best.
That's what we conclude from that.
This is for Stephanie and Jim Leonard, who know why. Boy, do they. It's very ominous. It feels like Annie's written it.
that wasn't even Stephen King as well. That was just some bloke in a bookshop.
Will, what you love Misery? What was
I do.
Do you remember the first time you saw Misery? Will, have you read the book? Have you read the book?
I haven't. I want to, especially now you've shown that off. Yeah.
I don't believe it's anybody else's fault that you haven't.
Yeah. I had an old tattered thing that the first time I read it, the paperback, and it fell. I read it on holiday, and it literally fell apart in my hands. I was holding single pages.
You were
and then
turning the
slotting them
pages
back in.
that vigorously.
Yeah. And but now I have a lovely hardback, and so I have read it again once, but I don't want to keep reading it because I'm afraid it'll fall apart again.
It'll happen again.
Or you're afraid you'll become the characters.
I'll become Annie Wilkes. Well, I'm close enough already. I watched Misery very young because really, there's
and you're
no
reasonably well adjusted.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm okay. Because really, apart from the final, you sick twisted fuck and you cocksucker. There's not really any profanity. Well, no, he writes fuck. But and I guess the hobbling and the extremely violent ending. But apart from that, it's only like Jaws. Anyway.
And when she blasts the police officer's entire body out.
See, I think that's all right. I think that's not too bad for kids, because that's just a guy.
And how? Go on, elaborate on this point.
I don't know where I'm going with this. It's just, in comparison, it's not as bad as
in comparison
the rest
to what?
of it.
Deliverance.
When I was growing up in Bakersfield, my favorite thing in all the world was to go to the movies on Saturday afternoons for the chapter plays.
Cliffhangers.
I know that, Mr. Man. They also call them serials. I'm not stupid, you know. Anyway, my favorite was Rocket Man. And once it was a no-brakes chapter. And the bad guy stuck him in a car on a mountain road and knocked him out and welded the door shut and tore out the brakes and started him to his death. And he woke up and tried to steer and tried to get out, but the car went off a cliff before he could escape. And it crashed and burned, and I was so upset and excited. And the next week, you better believe I was first in line. And they always start with the end of the last week. And there was Rocket Man trying to get out. And here comes the cliff. And just before the car went off the cliff, he jumped free. And all the kids cheered. But I didn't cheer. I stood right up and started shouting, "This isn't what happened last week. Have you all got amnesia? They just cheated us. This isn't fair. He didn't get out of the cock-a-doodie car."
Best 10-minute stretch. Will, why don't you kick us off?
Yay. I've got a few. So I've got Annie finding out that he's killed Misery into sort of the first escape attempt. That 10-minute stretch. I've got him exploring the house in the wheelchair.
Yeah, first time or second time?
The first time. When he puts the penguin due north, not due south.
Oh. Nice ceramic penguins, always go due south.
I've got the sheriff turning up. Well, all the way from him like working out, going to the library.
Great montage.
Sheriff, yeah. I love that.
Unless you find paper hard. No.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong about that. It's, again, we keep talking about this film after film, but it's a bit like the iceberg montage. Even though I've seen this film a million times and I know that shotgun blast is coming, the way that montage is built and the way that we sort of stick with him now, we've sort of been cutting between, but now we stick with him and it builds and it builds and he figures it out and he figures it out and then and then you finally get that wonderful barbecue. No, poor Richard Farnsworth.
And it's not too graphic. And we've got the escape.
I have it in my specific favourite parts because it's so brutal.
It's not that graphic. His entire midriff leaves his body.
You can see Kathy through his chest.
It's like death becomes her.
And then I've got the final sort of fight right at the end.
The wonderful dinner scene.
The dinner's wonderful.
The dinner was going to be the one I picked up.
The true pain of when she knocks the glass out.
Yeah. Do you think she knows? Does she do it deliberately?
No, not at all.
I'd say no.
Oh, can we just forget this ever happened? Oh no!
Because I did only watch this for the first time about a month ago, 6 weeks ago. Yeah, which is I think why I'm on here because I messaged Tom about it.
And you said that I'd be a great Annie Wilkes.
You would be a great Annie Wilkes. But yeah, no, the gasp that left my body when she knocked over that wine glass, awful.
And I know that he's in a terrible spot. But he could at least pretend he needs to smile quicker. I know he's completely devastated, but he's giving the game away just a little bit because he's so blank. And Paul is just so deflated. I mean, I don't blame him, but, we're going to need a candle if we're going to do it right. Oh, Paul. We need to make a list of ringtones I want. And I want, oh, Paul, I want that as a ringtone for any time. I don't have any Pauls, but I'd
But if
find
you
a Paul.
did-
Yeah, I'd find a Paul just for that. Just to say, oh, Paul. That wonderful 2 glasses. Oh, and the excitement on her face. I don't know how to explain this, but it's the pain I feel about Annie Wilkes' death. It's weird because she's also a child murderer. If we get rid of the child murderer thing, you genuinely feel really empathy. I feel great empathy for her.
She's murdered children. So.
Yeah, she may have murdered a lot of children.
Empathy for this quite literal psychopath.
But you feel sorry for her when she's the excitement of, oh, I'm going to put up my Liberace records, and that she just has to sit here with her cow, and when I feel really, I've always felt sad for Annie, and when she comes down when she's all depressed, and
which I think
is a sign.
I think sums up some serious character traits between the three of us, which is that you felt sorry for Annie, and me and Will are sat here like, well, she did murder kids.
No, but like the excitement when she's making the dinner and she's done her hair all nice and she's wearing that terrible but okay dress, and she's done it all nice and she's so excited about the spam in her meatloaf.
But there also could be an assumption that she might just be obsessed with it. She might just be completely insane, cutting out these things because she thinks it's, something she wants to emulate or something she also wants to do herself. And I don't know. It's obvious that, that's not what the case is, but I think kind of the non-definable aspect of that is also what makes it so interesting.
I've known from the very first book that misery had to be born of nobility, and I was right.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul, can I read each chapter when you finish? I can fill in the ends. Will she be her old self now that Ian has dug her out, or will she have amnesia?
Have to wait.
Will she still love him with that special, perfect love?
You'll have to wait.
Not even a hint?
Mm-mm.
Oh, misery's alive! Misery's alive! Oh, it's so romantic! Oh, this whole house is gonna be filled with romance. I'm gonna put on my Liberace records. You do like Liberace, don't you?
Whenever we played Radio City, who do you think was right there in the front row?
I'm gonna play my records all day long to inspire you. He's my all-time favorite.
Annie. Would you have dinner with me tonight to celebrate Misery's return? I couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, Paul.
I love the opening ritual. I love the cigarettes, and and also great payoff. It doesn't seem. It's one of those. The best payoffs are when you first time you watch it, you don't think it's going to come into effect later. Yeah. And you watch it, and it makes complete sense. He allows himself one cigarette. How else is he going to light it? He needs a match. Pays off wonderfully.
I said, my sister we were all watching it as a family. My mum's seen it extensive time. She loves anything horror thriller related. But my sister was like, why is there just one cigarette? And I was there like, I bet he only lets himself have one when he finishes every book.
You can see it though, because he's smelling it and he's savouring it, and it's wonderful. I mean, it's one hell of a way to make yourself more productive and help your smoking addiction.
It's positive reinforcement, but at the same time negative.
Yeah, I mean, it's a way, isn't it?
It'd be different if he allows himself like a line of coke after he finishes the book.
A full packet.
You let yourself have one shoot of heroin every time you finish a novel.
And she's like syringing it up for him.
You shoot crack between your toes, and then you have a glass of Dom Perignon. I love bitchy Paul Sheldon. after Annie ever does anything, and he's always like,
Yeah.
well, if I knew this was going to be the surprise, I'd burn all my books. And she's always, you kidder. You.
Because you've got to think that if you're in that situation, say you're a world famous writer, you're essentially being kept hostage by this obvious deranged superfan. I would be doing nothing but sucking up to her, you know, offering her whatever she wants. It's like, do you want me to write you into the book? Do you want me to get my ass out? Do you know what I mean? It'd be anything. It'd be anything she wants. I won't be going for these passive aggressive, offhand comments that could get me, you know, burnt with cigarettes and such.
But I also admire that Annie lets him have a few. She lets him have the middle finger up.
I love that.
Oh, you kidder.
Because I suppose there is also the aspect of she would obviously be so happy to have him around that any sort of his personality traits, his weird, not kinks, but you know, kinks as it were, she'd just be there like, oh, Paul, as she is, obviously.
Well, she says, you know, before this, I only loved the writer side of Paul Sheldon, but now I know I love all of him. Don't say that you love me too. I know you don't. And it's so painful. I don't know how you can not feel and the kid murdering.
I know I left my scrapbook out. I can imagine what you might be thinking of me. But you see, Paul, it's all okay. Last night it came so clear. I realize you just need more time. Eventually you'll come to accept the idea of being here. Paul, do you know about the early days of the Kimberley diamond mines? Do you know what they did to the native workers who stole diamonds? Don't worry, they didn't kill them. That would be like junking a Mercedes just because it had a broken spring. No, if they caught them, they had to make sure they could go on working, but they also had to make sure they could never run away. The operation was called hobbling.
Annie, whatever you're thinking about doing, please don't do it. Annie, for God's...
Shh, darling. Trust me.
God's sake.
It's for the best.
Annie, please!
Almost done. Just one more. God, I love you.
There's two N's in my favourite nurse's name. Annie.
I've got... I love how once he crashes, we suddenly just then cut to him with his publisher. And you have no idea when this takes place. Is it afterwards? Is he all right? And then you go back to the crash. I quite like that.
The wonderful Warren Bacall.
Yes. And then we come back, the leg reveal, when they're all like swollen and veiny.
Oh,
that's a nice shot. Oh, it's not nice, but it's
that's some serious good makeup.
It is,
yeah.
From
there's one thing I have in changes, which we'll get to later, but other than that, very specific thing, they look like his real legs. I mean, obviously he's tucked up. I read that he's under, his legs are under, and then they're fake legs.
Yeah.
But they look completely real. There's not like a bad shot where you're like, you can really, they look rather long. And his midriff is dipped and then he's up again. I think it's rather flawless, yes, Will, as you were.
I like the bit where she's on about, you only made one copy because you thought no one would ever read it. Is that a reference to Stephen King himself?
There are elements of Sheldon. Elements of King in Sheldon. The N story is from King. He had his first typewriter, didn't have any N's. He's never done an interview where he said that that's based on him, though. So you may be right, but you may be wrong.
I think I was watching a video of him doing he talking through his books, and he was saying he wrote his first book and he just got fed up, chucked it in the bin, and his wife picked it out of the bin. She was like, that's quite good. And it was Carrie.
Carrie, yeah.
Yes.
Sensational.
Carrie.
There you go,
great.
Tom. if you want to be successful, maybe you should just throw everything you've written in the bin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if you got a wife and threw things in the bin.
I'm gonna go. Oh, I've written another book. Oh, it's bad. Ooh.
Am I just going to rehash the kitchen scene? Maybe
Go for
I
it.
am.
Go for it.
Maybe I am just going to rehash the kitchen scene. It was one that proper stuck with me. Or potentially, it's not the best single minute of the film, but what I love is, when they're looking for the car in the snow and they just don't go far enough the first time. Again, just a brilliant way of building tension.
At the end of that scene, she drives past them and they're that close to her.
Of course.
So close, but so far.
What a great film.
It's a great film.
It's very good.
Best line. You want it? You want it? Eat it. Eat it till you choke, you sick, twisted fuck. I know I left my scrapbook out. I can imagine what you might be thinking of me. But you see, Paul, it's all okay. Last night it came so clear. I realize you just need more time.
I mean, no, it's the infamous, they didn't get out of the car.
I thought you were good, Paul, but you're not good. You're just another lying old dirty birdie.
Dirty birdie, yeah, that is good.
The specific part in that is my favourite part. My favourite thing in the world was go to the movies on Saturday afternoons for the chapter plays. Cliffhangers. I know that, Mr. Man. They also called them cereals. I'm not stupid, you know. Do you all have amnesia?
To bring it down on a nicer note, I've got one between the sheriff and his wife. His wife's on the top. She's like, "You need some help," and he's on the floor, and he's like, "No, I'm enjoying myself, thank you." I like that. It's that sort of, it's good. It's better.
Lovely little moments. Lovely little moments between the sheriff and his wife. When she's trying to stroke his leg in the car, and he goes, "No, when we're in the car, I'm the sheriff."
For God's sake.
Yes.
God came to me last night and told me your purpose for being here. I'm going to help you write a new book. Misery Tuesday could not be dead. And misery alive. Oh, this whole house is going to be full of romance. Oh, I'm going to go put on my Liberace records, which is my favorite line.
I got a great deal on this 50-pound clunker on account of its missing an N. I told the sales lady N was one of the letters in my favorite writer's name.
It's two of the letters in my favorite nurse's name, Annie.
You fooler. Did I do good?
You did great. There is just one little thing. I can't work on this paper. See, it's crassable bond and it smudges. So I thought maybe if you went back into town, you could bring me some white long-grain Mimeo.
But mine cost the most. So I don't see how it can smudge.
Come here, I'll show you.
I don't like when he just hides the knife from the mattress and then he says to himself, "See you in the morning." I hate that. There's no need for that.
Are you going to say that Castaway is unrealistic now, that he talks to himself the whole film? We wouldn't ever film Will if he didn't talk to himself a little.
Okay. I don't like when she comes in and she's like, "Oh, the rain, it makes me blue." I want to know why. I want like a backstory to how her parents died in the rain, but it feels like there's something needed.
No, there isn't.
I feel like you just misunderstand elemental, emotional.
She's just depressed. We have glimpses into it. We know that her parents are dead. We know that she killed her dad for a start.
Yeah.
in the book, there's the possibility of abusing as well from the father. So there's that element which, we didn't need more tragedy for her. But also we know that her husband's left her, so she's just alone. She doesn't need to have a big... I remember when my dad died in the rain.
Yeah.
Just being on your own, living alone with a cow, and the only person you've got in the world is a bloody fictional character. That's enough to make you depressed.
It would absolutely ruin the film if she was like, it's the rain. It gives me the blues.
And we have like a fade into the
I killed my
flash.
dad when it was raining.
A cow. I felt so sad, and I'd never known such misery. And then, through your books, misery was something I could enjoy again.
Yeah. We just ruined the film wholeheartedly.
Remember how for all those years nobody knew who Misery's real father was? Or if they'd ever be reunited? It's all right here. Does she finally marry Ian? Or will it be Winthorne? It's all right here.
Paul, you can't!
Why not? I learned it from you.
No, not misery! Not my misery! No, not my I'm gonna tell you, you lying cocksucker!
James Caan and Kathy Bates clashed over their acting methods. Caan believed in as little rehearsal as possible, but Bates, with her theatre background, was used to practicing a lot. Stephen King had originally planned to release the novel under his pseudonym, Richard Bachman. While writing it, however, it was discovered that King was Bachman, so King subsequently published the novel under his real name and announced that Bachman had died. Do we know what he died from?
How does Misery die, TB?
No, it's cancer of the pseudonym, which I always found very funny.
I thought if he died in the same way Misery did, that would have been fun for me. But no. I also had something funny to say, but I can't remember what. No, that was it. It was like Stephen King was going to release it under his pseudonym, but halfway through writing it, we're like, God, this is good. I'm not having that.
He only did 4. He only did 4.
He only wrote 4 books.
Yes, famously. Stephen King, famously not very productive.
It was Misery. He did 2 versions of The Shining and Pet Sematary. That's it. Christine, sorry, Christine.
And Christine, yeah. Are you ready for these long? This is according to William Goldman. This is the list of people who got offered Paul Sheldon.
Okay, let's have it.
I'm gagging.
I just obviously
one second.
Go on.
1 word reactions only.
Oh yeah, no, there's a long list. So Will first, then Sam. Warren Beatty.
Gosh.
Almost too old at the time, but
you make the rules. And then
one word.
De Niro.
We've now gone to noise, not word. Just make a noise.
Sensational.
Michael Douglas.
Yes.
Yeah. Richard Dreyfuss.
It can become a bit funny.
It turns into What About Bob? Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
that was just Yoda. Morgan Freeman.
I was disapproving. That was the no.
200. Would there also?
It would be too depressing because he'd be too nice a guy. Whereas you can tell that Paul Sheldon could be a bit of a prick. Yeah. Mel Gibson talking about famous dicks.
I mean, if we can excuse the anti-Semitic hate speech. Which of course we can't.
Which I would, you know, because you feel sad for him.
Yeah, this is the point that it came down to. You can excuse Annie being
Child murderer.
Being a child murderer. Could you excuse her being a racist? A homophobe? I don't think you could.
Well, we didn't get through the rest of the memory lane. She might have had a KKK members pass later in the book.
Yeah, she might have been really down with a Jim Crow.
Hey, you want it? You want it? Eat it! Eat it to yourself, you sick, twisted fuck!
Gene Hackman.
Yes, please.
Dustin Hoffman.
No.
No.
Alternatively, yes.
Yeah. William Hurt twice. Says here.
just to get the death ranking up there.
Yeah.
I need more.
It's just Reiner going back and being like, "Come on,
Yeah.
I'll clean your car."
Kevin Kline. Again, not Pacino. I'd watch that. I'm gonna write this book. This is my masterpiece.
Misery. They're slum kids. I was a slum kid. That's
I
how
thought
we
like
talk.
this crazy bitch has got me trapped.
Drink this cup of wine now.
Yeah. Hi, you dropped the wine. He'd just give it away there. Go.
Lick it off the table, Annie.
Yeah. The paper smudges. Robert Redford. Again, is he too nice?
He is.
He is. However, I thought Robert Redford would have almost been perfect for this because I feel he could have really got into character.
I think this was the period also where William Goldman and Robert Redford were having arguments because Redford was making out like he wrote All the President's Men, which isn't true.
Which isn't true.
And he later admitted it isn't true. Denzel.
Ooh. I would watch that.
Yeah,
but it's young.
Denzel.
It's young Denzel. It's 1990.
Denzel.
I think we need a more haggard,
An older man.
Yeah. And Bruce Willis, who obviously went on to play it later, but all of whom declined. The big not complaint, but was basically people, you know, they didn't want to be overpowered by the character of Annie Wilkes, and they've missed out on incredible roles. Jessica Lange and Barbara Streisand for Annie Wilkes. I can see Jessica Lange, maybe.
Could you imagine Streisand? Jeez.
She writes the song for the film.
Yeah, she's just la la la.
Misery. It's just memory, but misery. My cow
in North Dakota. Where is she? Where's this? It's filmed in Nevada, actually.
It turns into West Virginia. It goes into a different song. So, also in the book, King has Paul pretend to burn Misery's Return, and at the end, he goes on to see it published.
I'll say this. How can you pretend to burn?
I don't know. I can't remember. Also, he has him chop off Paul's foot and cauterize the stump. Ugh.
Grim.
Also, at one screening, Stephen King was enjoying himself so much that he yelled, "Watch out, she's got a gun," during the film's climax. Which might be one of the favourite things I've read in a while.
Stephen King getting really happy about his own.
Oh, watch out! In the original idea for the novel, Annie planned to kill Paul by feeding him to Misery the pig and then take his skin to bind the book he had written. The title would have been called The Annie Wilkes First Edition. That's taking it too far, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a bit... I mean, feeding into the pig...
That works.
I like that.
Character, but...
The book
I mean,
binding.
would she skin him?
She wouldn't skin her, yeah.
Kathy Bates was reportedly disappointed that a scene was cut in which she kills a young police officer by rolling over him repeatedly with a lawnmower. Director Rob Reiner was afraid that the audience would laugh at it. I agree. What the hell? Where does that scene? What?
I agree, but I want to see it.
Yeah,
So
why?
she'd kill a policeman by lawn mowing him.
To death.
A close shave.
Yeah, how would that work? She couldn't get it. Imagine her when she kills the police officer. Instead of shooting him, she just drives her lawnmower at him and has to go headfirst down the cellar stairs as well.
Turns into a wacky Looney Tune. It's been a pleasure having you. Any final thoughts on
Misery?
Misery.
I'm extremely glad it got made. Is what I'll say. I'm extremely glad it got made. I think it's a sensational film.
Will, any final thoughts on Misery?
Sorry. And
oh, sorry, Sam. I cut you off.
I believe the shock factor throughout makes it a fantastic first view, and it definitely has rewatchability.
Yeah, and the fact that all of those shocks still work, and the fact that you still think he's going to get out, and think all that tension still works so beautifully and brilliantly. It's truly excellent. Will, any final thoughts on Misery?
One of my favourite films of all time. Brilliant. I like it a lot. And I think, where would you put this Best Actress ranking in all ever winners? I'd put it very much up there.
So, boys, we'll see you cock-a-doodie next time.